Good morning. How's everybody doing today? All right. I see a lot of amazing bright faces here with a lot of amazing energy. We came here yesterday from Orlando, Florida. I'm one of the global educators and distributors at Biowell, which is a technology based on biophotonics and Kirlian photography. So I was amazed. I feel so honored and so privileged to be here among you amazing souls with your amazing understanding about meditation. Because this is something that I had to learn during my healing journey. Doctors gave me 2 weeks to live 12 years ago. And this was my wake-up call in my life, that I had to learn how to, I had an option. I had to choose that do I want to do a surgery or do I want to heal myself naturally? And I was born in Iran, so I have had a very deep understanding about the Eastern culture and how we look at health and how we look at healing. So my mission was to come to the United States and to become a heart surgeon. The reason for that was because we have I don't know if you call it a gift or a curse, in my family line that every single male in my family has heart problems. So my grandpa passed away at 41 from a heart attack. My father had to put a pacemaker at age 31. And I was, through my journey, and I was, had to deal with the same thing. And I was a very athletic person, because of this reason, because I wanted to really build my cardiovascular system, so I didn't have to deal with issues like my family. But as soon as I got to 33, that's the magic number, I started to have symptoms. So I was operating a multi-million-dollar company at a time, and I realized that I'm having severe heart palpitations. So I went to book an appointment with my regular doctor. I just went in for a checkup, and they hooked me up to an EKG machine, and they told me that I have abnormal EKG. And they said that this is something very serious, that we have to rush you to a cardiologist so they can do further testings on you to see exactly what's going on with your system. So from their office, I went to a cardiologist right away. They shot me with dyes. I was running on a treadmill, and they were monitoring the flow of blood in my system. After 2 hours of testings, they had a meeting with me, and they told me that I have to put a pacemaker, otherwise my heart could stop beating within a few weeks. So that was the moment that was a wake-up call in my life. So my mission was to become a heart surgeon, and I really wanted to, help humanity and my family in a big way. But I came here to the United States, and I started a business and became very successful, and I had money flowing in. So then I forgot about my life path. I forgot why I was here. I forgot my mission. And that day in that office, as soon as they told me this, I started laughing. Do you know why? Because I realized this is my calling. I realized this is the gift that is being presented to me. Now, what do I do with this gift? Do I throw it away and have them, do things on me that they think is going to fix me? Or do I want to really understand what is life about? So that was my mission. That day, I started to look at life in a completely different way. And I went back to my, old days of, being with my father as a child and going to meditations and hanging out with gurus. So I realized that, there is a big learning into that. That now it's my time to understand what is that learning. So I started to travel the world. I started to go all different types of seminars, all different types of conferences about consciousness, about biohacking, about holistic healing, to really understand, what is out there? What are people teaching us to work with ourselves, to work with our energy? And I was learning a lot. I was learning how to meditate deeply. I was learning how to do breath work. I was learning how to, pay attention to a lot of natural elements in our environment, in our homes, the environment that we live in. And I noticed there was a change. There was a change in my system. That instead of having heart palpitations like once a week and getting triggered, then it was like once a month. So I'm like, okay, something is helping me. Something is helping me to move towards the right direction. But I wanted to understand, what is it exactly? And I'm a software engineer. I was pre-med. At age 19, I got accepted to a gifted program at the University of Florida to do genetic research of how we can clone a bacteria. And at the time, this was a while back, they have found actually a bacteria that they said that it's a cancer-curing bacteria. So that was the research that we were doing on, of how we can manipulate genes and how we can replicate genes in a laboratory. So I had a completely different understanding of how we can really manipulate things even with our thoughts or with our intention. So I was in search. I was in search of something scientific. I wanted a scientific technology. I wanted something to talk to my left brain, to my analytical mind, to put it at ease, to say, hush, let me do my work. So that was my journey. I was researching, and I was online, and I was researching YouTube, and I found a gentleman in India. There was a shaman that was using this white box, and he was doing shamanic spiritual work, and they were doing before-after scans of what was actually happening to people during meditation. So I was like, okay, this is cool. Tell me more. So I did some research, and I found this gentleman's phone number, Krishna Marappa. Some of you guys may know him. He's an amazing soul. And I contacted him, and I told him about my life story. And what he told me was that, Nima, you're on the right path. This is a wake-up call for you. And I told him, yes, Krishna, I know. But how do I get to the bottom of this? I need your help. And he told me that, Nima, this technology is a Russian technology. If you really want to understand this, you have to go to Russia, and you have to meet the inventor of this science. I was like, okay, how do I do that? So he put me in touch with the company, and I contacted them. And they're like, yeah, we started the process. I got my sponsorship, and I was in Russia. I was in St. Petersburg, meeting with the inventor of this technology to understand how can we use biophotonics in order to heal, or during our healing journeys. And Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, he was the person that I met. And he was an amazing soul, a scientist that's has dedicated his life to energy medicine. And I spent time with him there, and I really learned, I really understood, like, what is the science about? What are we looking at? And I got one of their technologies, and I brought it back to the States with me. So then that became my practice. I would wake up in the morning, I would do a scan of myself, and I would pay attention to my chakras, because I wanted to understand, if there's any emotions, if there's anything that is causing the issue that we have to deal with. So, and this was a game for me, that I would look at my chakras, and then I've had, all different types of, research and all these conferences that I had gone to, and I would get to work on myself, and, I would use different types of maybe essential oils or different types of ways of breathing. And I would do a scan afterwards, and I would show like how my chakras are coming into an alignment. So this was a game for me. This was something fun, that I would get a video and put it on Instagram and be like, hey guys, look at me, this is my chakras, and I'm gonna do some meditation, and I'm gonna do some work on this to see how we can improve the balance of my system. And I continued doing this day after day. And I would feel great. I would feel amazing. I would wake up with the sunrise, and I would do my breathing practice, and I would use a bottle of water to absorb the photon emission of the sun, so then I could have this as a liquid photonic supplement for myself. And this was my practice. After 6 months, I realized I don't even remember the last time I had a palpitation. And that was 12 years ago. So I'm here to tell you guys how powerful we are, and the power of our mind and the power of our thoughts. Because in my journey, that was the most powerful influence, is to learn and to control my thoughts and my intentions. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about the science and the technology, give you a little bit of background of what it is, and then we have a lot more conversations about how we can really scientifically delve into meditation and to truly become the co-creators that we truly are. And that's what I see here. I see many co-creators here. Because you guys that can tune into your mind and can slow time down, you have the power to create. And how lucky are we to be among all of these co-creators today. So I would love to start my presentation and go through some of these slides. And we'll open up to a Q&A, so if you guys have any questions, I'm sure there'll be many. And we have a booth out here on the hallway, so if you guys have any questions after my presentation, you're more than welcome to catch me on the hallway, and this is why I'm here, so please ask any questions that you have. Grab my pointer. Okay, so this is the science of electrophotonic and photonic emission. So we call this gas discharge visualization. The company that is really innovating this technology is Biowell. And if you can go to the next slide, please. So the science that's behind this technology is more, is rooting from the Oriental or the Chinese medicine. And if you go to the next slide. And in here, we can see that, you know, this is nothing new. In a lot of philosophies and a lot of religions, we have been told that how we can attain a light body. And we've seen, you know, our prophets or different holy people that they can actually, you know, they can maintain this light body. So I have been researching this field for 12 years now. And I've been traveling all around the world, meeting with all different types of shamans, healers, all different types of amazing people. And even to this day, we can see people that they have this glow, that they can activate this light body around them. And the way that is done is by maintaining a chakra balance that what we call it over 90%. That if we can have our emotions and our feelings that resonate with existence and our higher self, then oh, watch out. You become a co-creator. Then every thought that you have has a chance of becoming a reality. So that's what this science is about. This is a little video that I'm going to show you guys that talks about the technology and the background of the science. If you could play that, please. Do you have can you play the video? One thing you guys are going to realize when I talk about energy, I start to sweat like crazy. So just to give you a warning. So, okay, I think we don't have that video here. So I'll quickly talk about what the video was going to show you guys. So this science came around in the 1930s. And this was based on a complete accident. There were two couples that they were electricians. And they would go to hospitals. And they would work on high voltage hospital equipments. And one time on accident, they put one of their tools on one of these machines, and they realized that there's a glow of light that appeared around their tool. So they thought this is fascinating. They thought, how do we create this again? How do we repeat this science? And what they discovered was that if you take any plate and we apply a positive and a negative charge on each side of the plate, and if you put an electrode right underneath there that can impulse a high electrical impulse, then whatever object that we put on that plate, as soon as we start to impulse it with electrical impulse, will start to glow. Bless you. So this was a fascinating part of the science. And they were able to actually recreate different Kirlian photography systems that became like for hobbyists around the world. They would take like a coin, or they would take a leaf, or they would take like a organic versus conventional fruits or vegetables, and they wanted to understand the photonic emission from these objects. And what was really fascinating was that when something was like a fruit, when you take a vegetable, a broccoli that is organic, you can see there is so much more light that is being emitted from that system, comparing to a broccoli that's conventional. So this is how this science was used to begin with, at the beginning. But then it became really interesting when people started to scan their fingertips. And they realized that people that are healthy, that they have this full glow of light that appears around their appendages. But people that were diagnosed with different types of illnesses, then they would have broken field within this energetic pattern around their fingers. And that was the big research of what does it mean if you scan somebody and, for example, on the right hand, on the right finger, they're missing this energy in the right quadrant. So this was a science that they initiated this. And then we had Nikola Tesla that did a lot of research on this. We saw him like in a laboratory with like photons being emitted from him like all around all to the surroundings. And then we had Peter Mendel in Germany that they did a lot of research. They created these big machines that were like Xerox, that people could put their feet and their hand on there, and they would impulse him with a short amount of electrical impulse, and then they would take images. But now the only issue was that this only depended on the expertise of those practitioners that were using these systems. So if somebody was like a doctor of biophotonics, then they would easily be able to understand these photonic emissions and be able to help people. But if there was just a new person just buying one of these systems, then they had to go to school, and they had to get their medical degree on biophotonics to be able to understand really what's happening. So it wasn't a science that could really grow and really help humanity at that point. Until Dr. Konstantin Korotkov from Russia. What he did was that he gathered a team of scientists. For 25 years, they started researching all the different issues that people could have in their physical system and how that would interfere and how that would translate to the photonic emissions that they have from their fingertips. So after 25 years, they created this amazing, beautiful global database. So now, the Biowell technology that we have, and this is the photonic emissions from the fingertips that I was mentioning. The technology that we have is just a camera system. So now anybody, you don't even have to be a practitioner. Our learning curve is 12 hours. Anybody that has 12 hours can learn the science, and they can scan people, and they can compare their scans to the Biowell's global database and get real-time data and analysis. And now the science, the values and the information that we get is amazing. I'm talking about 99% accuracy on the energy body. And the cool thing is that we're not talking about the physical body here. This is a science for your energy body, for your minds, for your thoughts, for your emotions. Because what we have realized is that the beginning point, the initiation point of most diseases is an emotional root cause. That if we can fix that emotion, then that issue will get resolved. But now don't fix that emotion unless your thyroid grow because you're not speaking your truth, and then they're going to have to cut it out. But now, even though if they cut it out and they remove it out of your system, if you don't fix the emotions that are related to that, then you're just feeding more energy back to that same system. And what's going to happen? If you have a lot of energy going to a system, we have an overactivity. And overactivity leads into creation of things that we don't like. So do you see now how emotions are so important in our lives and our thoughts? Do you guys know about the research on water and Dr. Emoto's work? If anybody doesn't know that, please make sure you Google Dr. Emoto, E-M-O-T-O. This man did an amazing research on the consciousness of water. That how with our intention, we can program the liquid molecules within water. So he pretty much proved that water is a liquid crystal. That with our thoughts and our intentions, we can rearrange the structure of the liquid molecules. Now, guess what? Our bodies are 70% water. Our brain is almost 90% water. Now the conversations that we have, the places that we come to, the music that we listen to, that friend that calls you on the phone and wants to chit-chat in your ear, all of these have a direct influence into your health and wellness and into perception of your reality. Because we all truly live in heaven on earth. The only difference for the people that don't realize that they're in heaven is their conditioning. Is how they have lived their life and what have they picked up. Now that becomes their circuit that they keep on repeating. And that will lead into creation of different things in their system. And that will influence their perception on their life. So if you want to live in heaven on earth, we need to meditate. We need to really get in touch with ourselves. We need to really have that conversation with ourselves. A lot of people are afraid of who they are. I was very surprised here. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time talking to a lot of you guys. And what I picked up was that you guys are so amazing. I can truly say I love every single one of you because of your perception, because of your understanding about life. But what I also understood, that a lot of you guys are so intelligent. And that intelligence can be a gift or a curse. So I see a lot of you guys are in your heads. I see a lot of the crown chakras that are moving around. But I didn't see too much the heart. If you truly want to understand life, and if we truly want to get into the unseen, our brains are very limited. Have you noticed the more you learn, the more classes you take, your decision-making changes? So that we never have enough information. We always have to learn more, and then that will change our decision-making. But what if we were to feel instead of think? What if we could depend on our heart instead of our brain? That is what makes a big difference. That is what makes powerful people that truly understand oneness. Because we are all truly one. You are a different image of me, I'm a different image of you. And we're all going together to this beautiful journey of life. So, not to get too philosophical here, let's get back to the science. So if you go to the next screen, please. So Biowell is, I don't know if you guys know about Gaia TV. Gaia TV is a spiritual channel like Netflix that they're pretty much owned like part of the Biowell company. So there's a lot of videos from, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Joe Dispenza, like Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton. These are the people that we do a lot of research with, do a lot of work with. And that's that channel that you guys can get a lot of information on. Next screen, please. I had a beautiful video of Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about Biowell, but I don't think that's going to come up either. Do we have a video there or no? No video. Okay, next screen. So different ways that we can use this technology is we can use it for mindset and psychology. So we can understand by the alignment of the energy centers. The software will give us exact information of like what emotions could be shifting those energy centers. And then that becomes our homework to start, like while we're meditating, then we can meditate on those feelings that are not residing with our higher self. And we can also use it for nutrition. So for nutrition, we can, and that was like one of the ways that I was able to really help myself. And that was by understanding how to do stress scans. Because we're energetic beings, just by touching anything, that will directly influence our flow. So with this science, we don't have to consume things to see how it's going to influence us. We don't have to wait a month and come back to see if it worked. With this science, we can immediately, in real time, see information as soon as we touch something. So if you have our food, if you have a can of Coke that you want to see if you're allergic to, if that's going to do something good for you, you can hold it in your hand and do the test and see where it'll take you. So this is the way that we can use for different supplements, we can use for different like fruits or vegetables to see if you're allergic or if you are sensitive to anything that we are consuming. We can also use it for physical activity. So they use for the Russian Olympics, they use the Biowell or the GDV technology. And Biowell is just the name of the new company that's created this system. But the science behind is called GDV. And that is called as gas discharge visualization. So right now we're working on a lot of amazing ways to improve this science. And so don't be surprised if the name changes to something else, but the technology is still the same thing. So we can also look at the daily and monthly cycles that we're going through. One thing that's really cool about Biowell is that it can generate a graph for us that's related to biorhythms. Now, biorhythms are more related to astrology and to the date of to our date of birth. The day that we're born, it's like all the planets that were aligned with Earth. It's the energy from those planets that goes into almost like creating us. So then those planets become our supporting planets. So during the month, whenever these planets are more in alignment with Earth, then that's when like we have more universal supporting energies. So that we can be more risk takers. We can, take vacation or make like, really big business decisions, and we will be supported. So that's something really, really cool that we can get information with the system. Also on the influence of environment. The more and more research we do, we realize that our environment has a direct influence on our health and wellness. So this is an ongoing research in Brazil right now with a big part of our team, that we have many cases of couples that husband and wife, that one of them passes away due to let's say a cancer or something, and the other couple misses that couple so much that they sleep on their spots, and a year or 2 years after, they get the same type of cancer and they pass away from the same thing. So this is a big research that we're doing to understand, okay, how does the electromagnetic of the earth, or how does the different energies that are being emitted, how does that actually influence us? Because where we're sleeping at night, we're spending 8 hours a day on that same exact spot. If that spot is not a good energy, then it's like we're destroying ourselves as we're sleeping. So that's a huge research to understand, like where's a good area, where's a good spot in your room for you to like place your bed, so that you can like really benefit from all these amazing energies and the frequencies that are around. Next slide, please. You can go to the next one. That's another video, so we can skip that too. So these are just some of the patents that Biowell holds. We have over 15 patents. We have over 200 scientific papers that are published, and Dr. Krotkop has released over 17 books right now that are talking about this amazing science of biophotonics. Next, please. These are the different centers that we have around the world, that actually there are service centers that they can they have support, and we have engineers and manufacturing there to support our movements. Next slide, please. These are some of the different, we have over 10,000 Biowell practitioners globally now, and this number is growing rapidly. So once I went through my journey and I was able to really have a very powerful healing effect on my own system, I was invited to join the Biowell team as a global researcher and educator. So once I came on board, like in the United States, we only had a very, very few practitioners. But I have made this my mission, that this is my 24/7. This is my dream about this. I eat this, I drink this. So now I've really created a huge movement in the United States. So right now we have over 1,600 practitioners that I have personally educated, and I've taken them through our training so that they can understand the science the way that I was able to work on myself. And we've created a whole business model now around this. So it's not just a technology that we're working with, but now we're working more on a global wellness system. Next slide. This is some of our team. This is Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, the inventor of Biowell. I don't think you guys can see that. He's a beautiful gentleman with a bald head in the center. And that's me to his left. And these are some of our different team members. And the gentleman right underneath Dr. Korotkov is Krishna Madapa. He's my guru, he's my buddy. And he's the one that got me into this world of biophotonics. So I have to be very thankful to him. Next slide, please. This is the Biowell camera system itself. And what you see connected to it is called a Sputnik. The Sputnik is the first Russian satellite they sent up, but besides that is that antenna-looking thing down there that we can measure the energy of environment with it. So if you go to the next slide. This is my trip with Dr. Krotkov. I travel around the world, and I go to all different types of sacred spaces to understand how the energy of different areas can actually help people during their healing journey. And we compare these energy values to understand how we can, let's say, take somebody's home or a meditation center and raise the vibration and energy to get to these sacred spaces. So this was our research in Egypt, that we went there from Gaia, and we spent there for 3 weeks, and we went through every single pyramid, every single spot there, and we had special permissions from the government there to be able to pick up some really amazing data. So our movie is coming out on Gaia in a few months, so you can see the ancient civilizations and all the findings that we had around the pyramids. Next slide, please. These are some of the universities that have done clinical studies on the Biowell around the world. So we have St. Petersburg, Russia, Moscow. We have, all different places. NIH here in the US, we have done a lot of research with, and these numbers are just growing. Next slide. So there are two different ways that we use this technology. We can get visual analysis and we can get analytical analysis. The visual part is really amazing for people to be able to visually show them how before and after meditation their chakras are improving. So when people can see something that's is not tangible in a tangible way, then that has a huge influence into their subconscious mind and their psycho-emotional bodies. Next slide. This is one of the books that Dr. Kratkov has published, The Energy of Health, and it's been translated to multiple different languages. So if you guys are interested in that, you can find that on Amazon.com. Next slide. So this is what we study. When we are talking about biophotonics and photonic emission, after we scan the 10 fingers, then the software that was created after 25 years of medical research will translate that information to a hue around the physical body. I wish this was working good so I can show you guys, but I'll just walk up here. So when we're looking at this system, what we pay attention to this light blue color that's going around the body. So the light blue color here is the energy of health and wellness. So for people that are very healthy, we see that this blue color goes around the body without any interruptions. It's more of a universal look. And it's kind of like if you look at a light bulb and how light is being emitted from surroundings, it has a movement that's being emanated from around the field. So like in this person, when we're looking at the flow of energy, we can see as the energy is moving up, right in this area, we're seeing a lot of overactivity, is what we call it. And that's usually related to our hips. So we see this for many, many people. We have over 80 to 90% of the people that when we scan them, they have these huge blockages in their hips. And the reason is, God gave us 2 legs. He didn't put 2 legs right underneath our butts. We're not supposed to be sitting down all the time. So our culture now, we're driving, we're sitting down. We go to our works, we're sitting down. We come home, we're sitting down. So once we're sitting down for too long, then we're creating these energy blockages right around our hips. And as you can see here, once that starts to happen, then we have this energy that's moving from the legs coming up. Once it hits that, this is the energy blockage. So once we have an energy blockage in the system, then we see that there's an overactivity that gets built up because now we have multiple blockages in these other systems too. Now imagine if this light blue color is like is a river, and the light blue color is water that's passing through a river. Now if you go and put a bunch of rocks and blocks in the flow, what happens? We create a dam. And a dam has a lot of power. We can generate electricity from it. So now, if that much energy stays in a system, or other systems, they weren't designed to handle that much energy. Based on this research and this science, we're supposed to have 4 to 6 joules of energy. That is the optimal flow of energy within our systems. But when something like that happens, and we have a blockage that stays in our system for a long period of time, that's like 8 or 9 joules of energy. So now imagine everything else that's around that area. Imagine your sexual systems, your kidneys. Everything else is around there. Now all of that energy, they have to handle that energy. They have to somehow work with that energy to redistribute it. And if they don't have a way to want to redistribute that energy, then imagine a light bulb. A light bulb that's supposed to work with, let's say a 40-watt light bulb, we're supposed to send 40 watts of energy to it. And that will last for the lifespan of that bulb. But now if you go and send 100 watts to it, what happens? It will get really bright, and it will blow up over time. So it will decrease the lifespan of that system. And that's what we experience every day with people. that once this energy stays there for too long, that can really damage the system. So if we can learn about this, and the beauty of the science is that we're looking at the energy body before the manifestation of those misunderstanding or misinformation into the physical system. So now if we can quickly understand when we're sitting the wrong way, or when you picked up something heavy and your back got stuck, if you realize that that energy got stuck there, now it's not moving, you just go get a massage or something, right? And they can open up that blockage and the energy will flow and we won't have issues. Something that simple. But if you don't know that there is a blockage there, and let's say you go through your life a year, 2 years with that blockage on your back, now imagine what's going to happen to everything that's around those systems. It's so simple, especially our posture. If you pay attention to our posture, our necks, that's another big thing that we see for a lot of people. Now with the cell phones, and they put the address bar at the bottom of it, now you have to even bend your head down lower to want to look at your phone. That's causing a blockage for your necks. And guys, these are like, they may seem simple, but there is a lot behind these things. So if you have your neck that's blocked, you're not getting energy to your third eye, to your pineal. And what happens if you lose your insight? Then people can easily control you. Because you lose your sight. You don't know what you're doing anymore. So pay a lot of attention to your posture. Please, get some massages, work on your neck, don't sit down too much. That would help so much in your energetic system. And I have so much to say, but so little time. Next slide. So this is like an influence of osteopathy. And somebody that has like a spinal issues, this is like a before scan, and then after they went and got treatments from their osteopath, we can see that immediately how much energy came back to the areas that were missing. Next slide. This is different ways that we can look at the stress level of a person. So we can do like a analysis of stress and energy of a person. Let's go to the next slide. These are different tabs that we have. So that's showing you like the chakra tab. The second one with the bars, that's more in talking about our autonomic nervous system, to see what systems are more affected in a sympathetic way and what systems are more in a parasympathetic way. And once we understand that, then the systems that are parasympathetically dominated, we can relax them, we can work on them, and then the goal is to create a balance within the autonomic nervous system. Next slide. We have a device called the BioCore. That is an accessory that we have with the Biowell. So once we measure your energy with the Biowell, there's an AI within the software that will automatically create a frequency file based on your chakra alignments. So we know exactly what is the frequency of a aligned chakra, because if you look at the chakras, it's like the same colors of a rainbow, and it's the same order. And there's a reason for that, right? Well, can we get into that? So, what is a rainbow? Do you guys know what a rainbow is? Rainbow is white light that gets refracted to its composing rays. And once you see the difference, the reason is because the red color has a longer wavelength, so it will travel longer, and the purple color will have a lower wavelength, so that once you separate it, now based on the frequency of the different colors, we get this beautiful separation of colors, which shows as a rainbow. And isn't it so amazing that once we look at our chakras, they're kind of like in the same pattern? And how all the philosophies and all these religions tell us we have a light body. Is it making sense now? Good. Some people got that. I'm glad. So now, the software will actually create a sound file based on whatever that's out of alignment to help you to keep on bringing it back into alignment. And there's a specific headset that will send different frequencies to the left and the right ears to influence our different hemispheres of the brain. So this way we can achieve balance within the autonomic nervous system within an 8-minute period that we're listening to these frequencies. And what's really amazing that we have a water charger that comes with this system as well, that you can put a cup of water on there and you can emit that frequencies that is specifically for you into that water, and once you drink that water, then that becomes your energy medicine. Next slide. Next one. That's a before and after of a BioCore session. You see the energy is missing, then coming back. You can move on. Next one. You can go ahead. Next slide. These are some researchers, some published papers that we have on the biocord and the influence. Next slide. Next one. So there's different methods that we can, for example, see how different supplements will influence us. Next slide. This is, for example, by just what we do is that we can do a baseline of somebody's energy field. So by scanning the 2 ring fingers, because they're connected to our autonomic nervous system and to our endocrine system. So as soon as we hold on, what we do is that we get a baseline just by scanning a person first, and then we have them hold on to different supplements, medicine, whatever, and we can immediately see how they're going to influence their energy levels and their stress levels. So this is an example of a person, and when we have people bring their supplements to us, like they show up with a big box like this, and they have all these supplements. We're like, okay, let's see which one is actually helping you. And once they hold on to it, about 50% of them are actually increasing their stress levels. So it's insane. So that's what easily we can see, okay, when we're holding on to different things, which one is going to increase our stress level, and we don't want that. We don't want to use that. This is kind of like a scientific muscle testing. Next slide. That's the way that the science works. This is another different electrodes that we have that we can do even research in water. We can look at the emission of photons within a liquid environment. So, for example, we can get a cup of water, and we can put an electrode to measure its the total amount of energy and the level of the quality of the energy, whether the energy is coherent or chaotic. And then we can offer prayers or meditation to a cup of water. And we can put that sensor again and measure that. And once you compare the two, I mean, that just is the biggest proof of how meditation will restructure and bring more energy to any liquid body. And again, we talked about our body's 70% water, brain 90% water. So that's how much we can influence our entire system through meditation. Next slide. These are different researches on homeopathic solutions that we've done. So we do this research for all different types of companies that they send us their products, and we can actually evaluate their products to see how is the energy signature of that system. Next slide. Another test using different oils to see like which one has a more higher frequency. Next one. That's the influence of a glass of water using a specific system to add different frequencies to it. That's how quickly we can replenish energy within our systems. Next slide. This is an experiment we did with Lynn McTaggart. I don't know if you guys know her. She's an author. She's an amazing person that's come up with a way of meditation of a power of 8. So we've done a lot of research with her and the intention practices. Next one. And that's the kind of different informations that we see on the areas. And my time is up. Let's go to the next one quick. You can go next one. We talked about the houses, apartments, and all these. Can you just go all the way to the end of the presentation? Yeah, we talked about the Russian Olympics. Next one. You can go quick. Okay, so I think you skipped a couple. So now what I've done, this is my life mission now. So what I've done is that I'm a software engineer also. So I have created a complete different system that will analyze the information that we get from Biowell. So now we can immediately have this, if you can go back more. So if you guys go to, we have a special website that's created that our practitioners can join there. We market our practitioners, and we've created the software that will take the Biowell data, and we have the special APIs. We take the information. Now, based on the 12 years of research that we have done, all these different companies, and we've tested many thousands of people, now we're able to actually make a recommendation engine so that once you scan people, you can use a database that we've already built to quickly look at the information that's been introduced to people. So when you look at the Biowell, it would take a little bit of knowledge to want to go around the biofield and understand what's going on. In this software, we have simplified everything. So you can just come in here, you bring in the scans, you just click on attention, it lists all the systems that need attention, And once we create an account, it will make a back end for our customers as well. So this is a new system that we're putting together to help our healthcare system. So now every doctor can create an account for their customers that they will have an access to a back end. And every time that they look at their scans of what's being continually shown that they need attention, they can just click on those stars. And when the customer logs in, they will see exactly the systems that they need to start paying attention to. Now, we've also built in the recommendation engine to this. So our practitioners can also click on different systems, see what are, based on the research that we have done, what are the systems, what are the products that are going to influence those systems in a positive way. Then they can make those recommendations to their back end. And this is like the ecosystem that we've created. Now, based on all of the research that we do here on the before and afters, we can actually save this information to specific researches. So let's say I have a supplement that I want to understand exactly how is this supplement influencing every single system in my body. So we introduce this as a research to our community. And once we have, like, let's say 100 scans of people that are holding onto these products, then we're able to show exactly, if you go to the screen with the percentages, then we can see how that product will actually, this is the recommendations that we can make by clicking on those minus signs, and we'll add them to the customer's backend. Next slide. This is a comparison that we can add into the information for the products that we recommended for them. And next one. This is the way we can say, like, after 7 people that held onto this product, now how many of them actually improved? Next one. That will give us the different percentages of, okay, like this person, let's say 20 people held onto this product, 70% of the people, their stress levels or their energy levels in different systems were improved. Next one. And these are the customer backends. So when the customer logs in, they see exactly what are the systems they need to pay attention to and all the recommended products for them there. Next slide. You can follow us here on social media. We're at Gaia.healers. And on Facebook, GaiaHealers.com. And I think that's the last slide. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope this was beneficial to your journey. My pleasure.
Awesome job. And they're going to come out. And the facilitators for Nima, stay right here. They're going to come out and say thank you to you. There they are. Good job.
Thank you.
I know, there's a lot of energy. And it's just like from there and from here. Lots of good energy.